Yo, 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 everybody. How we doing today?
It's like a full house.
If we do got a full house today.
Full house tonight.
How long has it been since at least the three of us have been on at the same time?
Oh my god, that's been going on, and not
Ever since Ant got famous and ended up on Newsmax and like,
but like famous in a good way.
oh, for sure, for
Like
sure.
he took that, and he was like, "I'm gonna do something with this." So like, move over, Ron DeSantis. I'm coming over. You
It
just
needs to be the
show up
next
at Ron
governor.
DeSantis's like private meetings and stuff now. And then I'm sitting there watching my Newsmax, and I'm like, I know that guy. I know.
Well,
Yeah, I had you on my 70-inch.
Yeah,
And we've got Melissa Lovely from Boston, Massachusetts, correct?
oh.
Well, close to Boston. Everything's Boston.
because I don't have time.
I call it Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, because we're under tyranny.
Well, I am a Red Sox fan.
That's good. We
Been a
all are.
diehard Red Sox fan my whole life, so
You got that going for you.
I actually like the history when it comes to Boston and the history of Boston and the town and the city itself. Phenomenal.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely love the city of Boston.
This one was
Politic wise,
Alien
obviously not
family
so
was.
much.
They're all there.
We have lots of history here. It's too bad we're
You-
pissing on the graves of all
That and that's exactly what I said too. Whenever so we did like the Boston Tea Party and stuff like that, reenactments and everything, and that's exactly what I said too. I was like, these are the same people that are saying, "Well, give tax dollars away to get universal health care," but their whole history in that town, in that city, is all about what 1% tax for tea.
Mhm. I know we're pissing on the graves of the patriots that died for our freedoms.
Yes.
Not doing anything. I mean, some of us are doing something, but it's not enough. I really think the revolution's going to kick off from our state, to be
Hey,
honest.
JRO, all I got to say is the Red Sox just swept the Tigers. Just saying. Just saying. Like, literally, last night they finished the sweep.
That means Tex. What does that mean?
Your Aunt, your camera's gone.
I don't. Well, there's.
Oh, I didn't know. I just didn't know if you know. I'm totally cool with you
There's a
promoting my
Karen in
show.
the chat. There's a Karen in the chat rolling her eyes because I'm eating, so I'd rather have her not see me. We're good.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Who's
Because
rolling
your-
her eyes that you're eating?
I mean, your icon is my show, and I don't know why. Is it like that for everybody else or just me?
No, it's your show.
Yeah, I mean, you just keep plugging that because that's coming back in August. By the way, everybody. But like you were saying, Melissa, you said some people are out there doing it, and you're really out there doing the thing. I mean, you're not just talking about it. You're not like I watched you almost get hit by a vaccine bus.
Yeah, Melissa, please tell us.
So like
Turned up in
I
that
need to know like, how did you even get into this? Like what was like your driving force that just made you like be like, you know what, I'm done and get off the couch, like I'll do it myself.
Well, I mean, pretty much this whole, I call it the COVID wars, has ruined my life. Pretty much, I've lost everything to this war. I was at the top of my life and my career. I was going for my master's. I was a director of programs for mental health and substance use, everything. And then the whole lockdowns happened. I have an autistic son. They took every resource from me to work in my marriage field, like everything just failed. I had to give up my career because they were doing these mandatory testing every week. And I said, listen, people are going to pop like crazy. And I was a director of the programs. And they were like, well, you're going to have to sleep here for 3 days in a row. I said, I have an autistic kid that hasn't had school in like 6 months. And he's spiraling. I can't do this
so
job
hard.
anymore.
My daughter has it was so, I mean, people don't understand how hard it was on those kids.
He was vaccine injured. And so I had to give up my career, give up everything. And then I just went full force into freedom work because my whole life went to shit.
Yeah.
And I was already involved. I was always red pill, all that stuff. But again, everything changed after COVID lockdowns on March 20th. So I just put my life into it because it ruined everything. So I was going to fight back. So I helped build the Patriot networks through a lot of groups in networking. We would do a mask off. I used to call like missions like Operation Matrix. Like it actually went nationwide, like all my little strategies. I'm like, we got to beat this. We have to win this. Like we got to bring back America. And I just kept evolving. evolving, and I've been through such pains. I've lost everything, and I just now I just get on the megaphone and I protest because it's the only thing we can do is to fight back versus bloodshed. What else can you do without
It's
bloodshed?
true. How do you feel it's been? How do you feel it's been working?
Yeah.
We make small victories. Again, I think I see this as a new world order 2030 biblical times. We might not change the bigger picture, but we can win small victories, and every person we get on our side is one less enemy.
Sure.
I've been attacked by Antifa. I can't even tell you the stuff I've been through. Like, I've been on their pages. They've come to my house. They've attacked me, my jobs.
Antifa's come to your house?
Oh yeah, I've had flat tires and everything.
I thought they were like skinny white dudes, right? Isn't that usually Antifa like woke like the suburbs?
From the
You
suburbs.
said skinny white dudes.
Well, it is. It's usually like a bunch of like rich kids. I
Oh,
mean,
I know.
that's what I see primarily.
They all get Starbucks before they go and protest, and then it's usually like rich white fat girls that are like the BLM.
I am glad you said that because they only use the thugs and black people to start the race war. It's really Harvard people. It's these actually really elite people that are real Antifa. They only use certain race to start a race war. That's the truth.
Of course.
We had it right here in the hub of Massachusetts.
So tell us about the ouchie bus that you stopped, and like what exactly was that bus? What was it doing? Kind of deal. Like, kind of give us the backstory if you don't mind.
Yeah, so we have these things that was established by our tax dollars of the Commonwealth or Commonwealth of Massachusetts or Massachusetts. And they have these vax buses that go to the schools in different areas and they vax up the kids. And I'm like, that's my tax dollars. I didn't approve of that. So we're trying to stop it and educate people. So we've been talking about the tree hugging movement, like when people were tying themselves to trees and they would stop the construction of it. So people were talking, we were going to do like a human chain and all this stuff. So I'm always someone like, let's test the theory. Just so happened I'm the person that's crazy enough to do it. So I was like, I signed up for the vax clinic. So I signed up that I was going to get the shot because I figured if we could get in, we could educate the people about it, like undercover. Just so happened, I also was the person stopping the bus with the megaphone and the black flag. And the cop was there because they kept pushing it out, and it went slow. Like I didn't jump in front of 50 miles an hour. And I'm like, you know, you saw the video. So they're like, Melissa, it's coming. I'm like, oh shit. So there was 2 Patriots that did go behind me. And I was like, stand up. and he actually was going to run me over. So it was
it looked like he was going to keep going.
Yes. I wanted to prove the governor had an order to run down Patriots. Like they weren't going to stop like the tree hugging movement. So I proved the theory. So no one's really jumped in front of a bus since.
Wow.
I mean,
did you know that down here in Texas, they when Kamala and Biden's bus was running down the highway, and a bunch of Patriots got just beside the bus. Did you know that they identified those people and they charged them with felonies?
I'd help them with their fundraiser tax.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, but yeah, isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you stop their propaganda machine, they don't like it, but they don't mind stopping ours, of course.
Yeah, it's hypocrisy.
My thing, like if you're going to do it on one side, just allow it on the other side. That's my only bitch about it. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Both people can say how they feel and express it the same way.
And I just want to tell everybody here, because this just happened, I think, yesterday, Tex, you probably know this too. This goes hand in hand with what Kat said about the propaganda machine and blah, blah, blah. Zelensky literally passed a bill or law. I don't know how it works in that country, but it's a law now. That
I mean, they're at war. Do they have a government?
Anything that is pro-Russia, so basically anything that goes against Zelensky and his beliefs, automatically insurrection, you're done. You're getting arrested. You're going to jail. Done.
Oh, but let's keep giving them money.
Oh yeah, we'll just give you another $1 billion.
And weapons, right? Like $100 million in weapons or something like that.
Yep.
And I'm going to bring it up just so I can read it to you, Kat, because you like want to know I know you want to know verbatim.
I do.
Bring it up. I'll just talk here for a second. But
So Melissa, did you start at the ouchie, or did you start your protesting at like the mask mandates, the lockdowns, the quarantine, the
Pretty much
healthy?
the lockdowns, and then we were so locked down with curfews. We couldn't go shopping. We couldn't do anything. And then we started meeting as a group of we built it to like 50 people. We were meeting at a campfire meeting just to be free without masks. And, we were going into the stores without masks, so we were being harassed. So I saw this thing called Operation Matrix that we went in different entrances without masks and just be normal. And to try to change the hearts and minds that we could do this without being arrested, even though some of us were harassed. And I just couldn't take it anymore. Like it's ruining our lives. Like this was so, like when I saw this, I was literally like, oh my God, people are complying like sheep. And this is going to set off. And I used to do trainings for security groups and all this stuff. And I was like, this is the start of something serious. We need to start preparing now. Like it's the vax is going to come. They're going to require it. People are going to lose jobs, and everything that was said happened, and worse and worse and worse. And I've been nonstop ever since for 2 years, nonstop.
Now, how many of you, like, because didn't you guys just have some arrests happen, like, currently, like, recently, right?
Yeah, we have arrests. So we've been protesting Mayor Wu because she's been the most evil tyrant in our state, and fired my friend Shayna, who is a Boston police officer. So when she started these fighting against the union about the vax, they laid her off and fired her and brought up stuff from her past, even though she was a hero in the Boston bombing, even though she got promotions. So we all were just so like, this is so wrong on every level.
So wrong.
Got to go into Mary Wu's house at 7 a.m. in the morning. And you're going to make people's lives miserable? Here we are. Right. And then they started putting in these laws saying that we couldn't use a megaphone, kind of laws. We couldn't do it at a certain time. There's pictures like me being surrounded by the police, and we had no choice but to do this because they closed down the state house. They closed down meetings. They would cut you off from Zoom. So they gave we, the people, no voice. We had no choice but to go to the tyrant's house because we had no voice in the public forums. So what else are you supposed to do? You have to get a voice. It's like taxation without representation.
Right.
What are you going to do? So people just stand by. And then if we allow this to happen right now, when the lockdowns happen, they will pass every single bill and you won't be able to go to anyone's house, and they will just pass bill after bill after bill, and you will have no voice whatsoever. If we allow these laws to happen, that you will be arrested and charged for protesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like people are starting to like forget. I really do. I feel like people are starting to forget what all really happens. Like we have an event that's coming up here at the end of next month, right before we vote for governor here in Michigan. And I was sitting down today and working on my speech, and I'm like, that's all I want to do in mine. Like I think that people need to be reminded now more than ever what the hell actually happened for those 2 years, what they actually did to you. Because now it's like, oh no, everything's fine now. Why? Because you can leave your house.
Right.
That's freedom to you now. Like now we're all free because we couldn't drive our cars. In my state, I couldn't buy seeds. It was illegal to buy seeds and paint for like 2 months. Couldn't do it or you would get fined. And if they can do things at that level, they can do things at any level.
Oh, for sure.
Well, and it's kind of like beating a dead horse. We've said this over and over again. Like, nobody ever had to comply from the very beginning. Not a single one of you had to comply.
We shouldn't have.
We shouldn't have. But us four, or I know that we have more than just us four. I'm just using this as an example, is not enough. Americans should have came together like Americans are coming together for Ukraine, right? So we didn't have that. We didn't have the American borders around our Facebook pages, right? Besides us, just our group of Patriots, of Americans. It wasn't enough people. But now you're looking at Zelensky signs a law banning pro-Russian political parties in the Ukraine. Technically, you guys, we are considered pro-Russia. only because we're against Zelensky. That's all that means. They've worded it, and our government does the same thing. Melissa knows this. You guys know that. If anybody knows this, Tex knows this. Knows the most about our politics. They word this stuff in a way to seem like, well, January 6th was the worst insurrection, or was the worst day in the United States. No, it wasn't.
Well, but look at the Patriot Act back in 9/11.
Yeah.
How do you say no to a Patriot Act? Like it's named so that it draws out emotions.
Right.
And you're right. That's exactly what they do. And then they bring in, your Ben Stellers and whatnot, and he calls him a fucking hero and shit like that. I mean,
my stomach. And this is what yesterday when I was in the grocery line, and I'm sure everybody here has probably seen the video, but that's when it clicked to me too, because I'm standing at the grocery line and everybody is in this zombie mode fashion, right? You have Americans that are like,
Yes.
and they're just like kind of doing their normal thing. And I'm looking at every single magazine that's at the counter. January 6th, worst day of American history. Donald Trump, new information about Donald Trump coming out. Not a single thing about Biden. Why don't we have at least one? It's like there's not one paper that says Joe Biden fails at economy in the United States.
Right. You're right.
Worst economy since Carter.
Trump could have solved cancer and he would have been crucified. It doesn't matter what the guy did.
Yeah, he's still crucified till this day. I mean, Biden can shit his pants at the White House. They'll be like, well, it was probably because Trump drove up and he got scared. Oh, okay. So we're gonna blame Trump on this one too. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So
the only thing that I have to say about Trump is that we have to. This is the part that's very suspicious. Is we have to agree that he could be more active in freeing the people from J6. He has a dream team. Why hasn't he used the money? Why hasn't he talked about freedom? That should have been his mission because they are prisoners of war.
Yes.
That is why it's up to we the people. I think his purpose was to show us it's always up to we the people because God is a jealous God. And some people worshipped him like he was going to save America.
They're still worshiping him.
It's us.
It's we.
They're still worshiping.
Do it.
Yeah, look at that Ultra MAGA over here.
But the thing is, though, is that, you're Ultra MAGA as in like the movement. You're not Ultra.
Yeah, it's MAGA to me means make America great. Like I stand with that. That's what I stand with. I stand with that movement.
I agree.
You could be behind Make America Great Again, and I would support you in that because I believe that.
Trump served a purpose. Don't get me wrong. He was great and he served the purpose. He uncovered the deep state. And I think if anything, it showed that even Donald Trump, who was great, the elite people have no idea what's going on with the regular people. He has no idea. Like when he talked on stage that day, he really didn't understand. Oh, we were following the queue down the hole and all this stuff was going to, he had no idea what was going to happen. He really didn't. No. He doesn't understand the common folk because if he did, he would know what we were suffering. We were suffering. What happened to everything that was supposed to happen? And people were giving money to what? Why didn't he use that money to stop the steal, to free the people from J6? Why have we not broke them out as we the people? Why not?
Yeah, that is my biggest complaint. My biggest complaint before he left office is that I really did think that he was going to pardon. I truly believe that he pardoned all of those people. And I'm kind of like, okay, still love you. Still think he's the greatest president that I've ever seen in my lifetime. Definitely. And he did wake a lot of people up. I wasn't like this before him. Mm-hmm. I didn't have this kind of dedication before him. I didn't see the ugly that I do see now. So the purpose was beautiful. But it's like we didn't pick up the cues either. Just like he didn't pick up the cues, we didn't pick up the cues as a collective. That it's us. Mm-hmm. Like, just say no. There are more of us than there are of them. It's simple.
Well, and Kat, you reminded me this a couple of weeks ago when I was going to see DeSantis and visiting with all of these political people. You're like, don't forget, they work for you. Mm-hmm. They work for the people. Like
they are civil servants, and they need to be reminded of it daily.
And you wonder why I confront them in the grocery store when I see them.
Oh, I never wondered why. No,
Oh.
yeah, people do wonder why. No,
some people get on to me about it, and I'm like, they work for me. I don't give a shit what time of day it is. If you're at the grocery store and I got a grievance with you, I'm gonna confront you about it. Like that's what we should be doing.
Well,
and I make a scene. Why do you support Hot Wheels?
Right, and Republicans and conservatives right now, they also should really be focusing on going and knocking on the doors of all those 14
Republicans
that pushed through that gun law. If they're really that mad about it, see, here's the thing, Tex, Kat, Melissa.
I already know where you're going.
They're all so mad about it, and they're like this.
Yeah,
bro. That's how it was here in Texas.
Tom McDonald said it best in one of his songs. People think activism is memes and Facebook and all that stuff. It means nothing. And to me, we're not going to get more of a movement until we make right about what happened in J6. There are people, when they see that we left them behind, when we see that we don't come together when someone gets arrested for the movement, people are like, why am I going to do something? I had people, they didn't want the vax. They're like, who's going to support my family, Melissa? And you know what? They're damn right. Because I told people a while ago, if we don't give people a blanket to not comply, they're going to comply. We're part of the problem.
Communities. There has to be those. And let people call them what they want. Let people tell you that it's a cult. Let people tell you that you're extremists because you're building a community. Because if you don't have that, if I get arrested, you know, Susie Sally, who liked my video 3 days ago, is not going to come bail me out.
Well, and here's the thing about
This is going to come get me.
I know this to be true. I live it all the time. And we have people that like, yay, high five, 1,000 views. Okay, someone just got arrested. Do you have bail money?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Yeah, how about those 1,000 views? Are they going to pitch in?
Right.
And here's the thing, too, Kat. You know, Bobby Sue, Jimmy Jones across the street, Will Smith, all these people that live in your neighborhood, right?
Right.
What the government is. So I just read up on these red flag laws. Actually, I didn't really know much about what they were passing through. So, you know, to everybody, when you don't know, before you speak on it, go look it up and see what it is you're about to say.
Just ask somebody that you know. Don't pretend like you know what it is. Just ask. You're not stupid for not knowing it. You just don't know it. Ask and then you know.
Right, and then you'll know now. So I talked to a guy, his name is 28 Daddy. He's great. Him and his wife had started a whole organization where they help people properly use firearms. People that don't know, people who want to get them, going through everything you need to know. We talked about, love you too, John Hancock.
We love you, John. You can't go wrong with that name. Just saying.
Right. So what these red flag laws mean, it attaches itself to your extremist talk that you were talking about. If I, liberal Taryn, am sitting at my house and I don't like Aunt next door, I can call and say, oh my God, he has guns and he threatened me. With no questions asked, government can straight up come into the police, the FBI, whoever, and seize all of your guns because this hookah.
You have to do it that way. Do we I'm not getting into the specifics of it, but do we not remember when this happened to me a year ago?
Oh yeah, for sure.
What we had to say was, I felt threatened by this person. She owns guns. She has a following of X amount of followers. I feel threatened, and boom, lost my gun rights.
But they're giving they're giving this option to people for no flipping reason at all.
No,
and 14 of your Republicans voted to push this through.
Yes.
Everybody should be calling them.
Yes. Even if you don't want to get up, even if you can't get up, like I get it. I can't get out there like I used to. It drives me nuts because I used to just be out. I can't do that very much anymore. But you better believe I'm on the phone. You better believe it's repeat. I call Governor Gretchen Whitmer daily. On the daily. One of the first things I do when I wake up, or one of the last things I do before I go to bed. Because you can still call. Her voicemail always picks up.
Well,
you can harass them. They can't put a no contact order on you unless you're threatening them. They can't do anything to you because they are civil Servants, they work for you. You pay their salary. You're their boss. If you weren't doing your job right, your boss would be yelling at you. Your boss would be firing you. Your boss would be giving you up and down. Why aren't you calling these people at least? If you can't get up, that's fine. You can pick up your phone. If you can pick up your phone to make a freaking TikTok, you can pick up your phone to call an elected official.
That's right. Now,
Yeah,
do you know what happened in Rhode Island? So I have Rhode Island freedom fighters here in the chat, and they are so active. And I help out Rhode Island in different states. And if you saw what happened on the news, the big unconstitutional ban of 2A. I mean, we had 200 2A supporters there, and they did a sneaky move. We won that dismiss of them restricting the mag ban, and then they did something sneaky at 9 p.m. It was the most unbelievable thing that you've ever seen. And, you know, in Rhode Island, you could have a mag capacity over 10, you could have 30. And now the governor McKee, he's a total commie, like change it that you have to turn it in 180 days. So right now there is civil unrest happening in Rhode Island because they're not going to allow this to happen. They're not going to turn in shit. There is a lot of chatter that this is not going to happen. And I don't know what's going to happen, but when people get quiet, you have to worry about that. When you have 200 people yelling at the state capitol, when you have people angry saying everything they want to say on Facebook, there is stuff coming down the pike. And I'm telling you, it's going to happen in New England. If it's not between Massachusetts or Rhode Island, history repeats itself. All eyes on these states. We are under total unbelievable stuff that you don't hear about in the news in the other states. We are so active here, right up to New York. The stuff we go through, the arrests and the jobs that we've lost, it is so awful. I talk people off the ledge all the time. My career is counseling, and I can't tell you the burden of people. We've lost some people too because they don't want to get help either because of the 2A. They don't want to be on the radar for counseling, so they lose their guns. So people are doing stupid stuff because we have Antifa, we have people under medical records reporting stuff. We have to fund the police. They have social workers in there so you don't get your renewed license.
Right.
Serious.
I honestly think that that was the plan though. Because go back to Obama. All that's when the mental health thing became trendy, was under Obama. It's okay. We all have mental disorders. Embrace yours. Talk about it. Talk about it all the time. Talk about all your mental problems. And now here we are. So maybe y'all shouldn't have been talking about them so loud, because now they have another reason to take them. And I said from the beginning, it's going to be the guns. They're going to come after this, but what's going to set it off is if they try to come after people. That's going to be enough. I don't know why it wasn't enough yet, because me personally, I was burn it to the ground months ago. Just unplug America and start back over again. But when you come for somebody's protection, their only means to protect their home. I mean, here in Michigan right now, our police officers have blown through their gas budgets in certain areas so bad, they're not coming to calls anymore. And they've let us know that not all 911 calls are going to make it to where you're going to get an officer. It will be screened on whether or not they feel that it deems them coming out, because they can't afford to come. So now the police can't come to your house. What am I supposed to do if I'm sitting here with my kids, my husband, in my home, and now someone's trying to get in my home, and I call 911 and they're like, sorry, we don't have the gas to get there, but I don't have a gun either now.
Yeah, it's a slow kill. They won't stop the revolution. I told people they're not going to come knocking on the door. It's a slow process. They find things on you, get you for something else, make up lies about you, not renew it because you have depression or an IEP. It's a slow process. They can't just come knock because they know it's not a revolution. You have to be prepared. And remember, they have blueprints of all of us. I've told my fellow patriots, listen, be prepared, because if one of us get arrested for something, they're going to make it look like we're a spy, we're an informant, just like they did the head of the Proud Boys, just like they did the head of the Oath Keepers. They make you have distrust among each other. So they'll be like, so we don't have a rising. They can change anything, like the born identity, to any one of us to make us look something else, like we are in a different war than 1776. You got to understand that. Know who you have by your side now, solid, and
Right.
don't listen to that other shit. Shout out to Penny News, by the way. They're awesome. Undercover videos with me.
Yeah.
Good people.
So Melissa, how many protests have you been involved in?
Countless. Countless. I can't even.
Do you even know anymore?
Well, we anywhere that we can. I mean, we started going to houses when they closed down things and we couldn't have voices in meetings. Like if it was school committee or state house. So we started going to houses because they would cut us off from Zoom and we couldn't do anything. So how else could we get attention? And it's easy to find. You just from the office and campaign and finance report in any state, you can find out where any candidate lives or any elected official. Now, I was an elected official, and if I do something against the Constitution, go ahead, yell at my house. I don't care. You have a right to accountability to the Constitution, and that's where I draw the line. You want to hike up minimum wage, whatever. I don't care. I care about violations to the Constitution. That is where I will put you on watch. I followed the Chris Ann Hall way, and this is what the problem is. The first time, you let them know nicely, you take care of it. The second time, you take action and you vow to get them out. You cannot allow it more than 2 chances. That's it.
See, and that's where I feel like, just here in Texas, just because I'm still sour about it. So our governor Hot Wheels decided in 2020 that he was going to violate 16 of our constitutional rights. 16 that we could count. You couldn't find a Hot Wheels supporter on any social media that was for him. Everybody was against him until March 2nd, 2021, when he allowed us to start having our rights back. Then he was fucking celebrated by the right and then reelected.
And I always like to throw in Greg Abbott single-handedly could have shut down the border. He could have avoided a lot of this border stuff. He has that power. He's always had that power.
But even if we truly on the right believe in the Constitution, just because we like a man that's sitting on 4 wheels instead of walking, he needs to be held accountable at the end of the day.
Yes.
He violated 16 of our constitutional rights in 2020. He shut down our freedom of speech. He shut down the freedom to work. He shut down churches. He did so many things. He put over 10,000 small businesses in Texas permanently out of business that never came up, while uplifting large businesses, which we're supposed to hate, but then we reward the moron by reelecting him.
When you had this amazing candidate that cared about the people, genuinely cared about the people, was out everywhere. And I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked by the results of your guys's, that Chad didn't take that.
He was not even like, and the thing is, like, the other candidates are just as good, but they weren't even close. It was a million more votes from Hot Wheels to second place. I mean, it's like, so do we as even conservatives, Republicans on the right, whatever you want to call us, do we really even stand on our principles anymore? Because here we talk about anti-establishment, term limits, and Constitution. All 3 of those is Greg Abbott. Violated the Constitution. He's the establishment, and he should be on term limits. And we don't do anything about it. We reward him for nothing. And it's like, when are we on the right going to fucking wake up for a change and get these morons out of here? How was Lindsey Graham reelected? How was John Cornyn reelected? All these morons. And if you watch, I paid very close attention to both Lindsey Graham and John Cornyn's debates whenever they were up for reelection. Neither one of them took their candidate serious because they knew they had the shit in the bag. And John Cornyn was going up against a very good Democrat female that I voted for because I was tired of him. And she sounded better because, you know why? Because in the debates, he would sit there and just look. Same with Lindsey Graham. And just look. And he didn't take, neither one of them took him serious. And now look, both of those morons are voting for red flag laws.
Because they knew.
As Republicans, conservatives, we don't even stand on our own fucking principles anymore. No. And that's what's tired of it until it's too late. Then all of a sudden, but then as long as they give us our rights back, like on March 2nd, 2021, then we're fine. Then we reward Greg Abbott and John Cornyn and all these other morons, and we reelect them and continue to pad their books.
Well, and it's because we
primary election with $90 million in the bank. And he didn't spend a dime on the primary election because he didn't have to.
Because we don't show up for primaries. We don't.
No, we don't. And even when we do, we don't even vote the right person in. Then come November, we're like, oh, well, we got to pick the lesser of two evils, Beto or Abbott. Abbott, for the first time in his political career, had primary opponents. He's never had a primary opponent for any of his positions that he's held in government, from attorney general to the Supreme Court. Never. He finally had a good selection to choose from, and we didn't even take advantage of it. And he's walking into beating Beto with over $90 million in the bank. He didn't even spend any ads. He spent the primaries attacking Beto than he did his own primary because he knew it was done and in the bag, and we didn't do anything about it. And that's what pisses me off. Now, Melissa, do you see that same kind of thing now that like time has worn on?
Yeah, so I mean, I've come to realize, out of hundreds of people I've worked with, I've traveled many states. I work with everyone in different states. I'm also a state assistant of people's rights with, Ammon Bundy. I see everything. And you know what? I've come to realize that it's really down to 3% that will stand with you. 1% will fight with you. And that's it. That is why we don't see these changes. We'll say we have the majority because people are all talk. They won't even vote. They won't do anything. They're all over Facebook. They'll say they'll do something, but honest to God, they don't. This is why it's really at the beginning of end times. God is not going to give mercy to America because we have done nothing. We have allowed so much to happen. It's only going to be down to the 3%. To be honest, hundreds of people I work with, hundreds, and a handful of us are the ones fighting and protesting. It doesn't make sense. 70% is vaccinated in our state. 70% are unenrolled. We think about it. Majority of people comply to all these lockdowns.
Yep,
are we surprised what's happening now? Are we surprised?
So, Melissa, I got a question. So at the height, like, how many people did you guys have come into your protest?
We had like 1,800 people at a Boston rally protest that we had, and of course the news didn't report it that way, and it was like 10 below. It was freezing. I had 3 layers of clothes on, and we got everyone together to stand and march in the streets of Boston. I mean, literally, it was bone-chilling cold. So we've had more people at rallies than protests. People will love to hold the flag and show up if something's popular, but there's not many people that are brave enough to stand on a corner with a couple of people or stand freezing and protesting a tyrant. They're scared. It's crazy. But a rally, I'm like, we got to get beyond and go the next level. You can't just stand there. It doesn't do anything. It feels good to do a rally, but really rallies don't work. Protesting works.
Yeah.
So how, are you still doing protest?
I just did the one at the 2A. I go to as many as I can, but
how do you see the momentum there? Is it the same? Less? More?
Anytime if I can do something, I will, because I have to tell people we can't allow this. You can't just be all talk. Oh, that's awful. We have to get our voice out there. And if we can change one person's mind, maybe not to get that poison, if we can change one person's mind, like this person's tyrant on watch, you're going to make our lives miserable. You're going to kill people. And we're okay with it, that babies and people are dying. People.
You see that 24-year-old? Did you see that 24-year-old football player that just died?
I've known 16.
24, supreme athlete. Tell me he had previous heart conditions. Let me tell you something. The NFL, when you go into the NFL and you get drafted at that young of age, especially, they do more medical research on you than they do for any military person in history because of the amount of money that they're throwing at these people. That man had zero pre-existing medical conditions. Drop dead. 25 years old.
If we do not rise for babies, for them starving the babies with formula, then there's nothing that we're going to rise for. You would think that would be
true.
They don't care.
They don't care about babies crying and starving.
No, they don't give a fuck. Listen, Tex, was it you that told me? Well, I just realized that the most vaccinated country in the world is Israel.
It's Israel. It's always been Israel.
100%. Almost. Tucker Carlson, if y'all watch Tucker Carlson tonight, I don't watch any other of Fox News because all they do is play the hearings. They sold out. Fox News is a complete sellout.
Are they not really?
All day. It says hearings. J6 hearings. But Tucker Carlson is still calling people out at least. And he just showed what are we looking at?
Catherine, please.
What are we doing in here?
What is that about?
That's Catherine, who I do the woo rallies with. There's tons of pictures of us doing protests together, but she's all on an ego trip now. So we have tons of people.
Melissa.
Me and
I have haters everywhere.
But me and Melissa talked about this last night. Everyone's the guy. Okay, you guys? Nobody's more important than the other person. Exactly. Nobody gets to be the face. If everyone can please just put your ego and put it in a little box and shove it up your ass as hard as you possibly could and just realize that it's we the people.
That's right.
All have to do it or it doesn't work. And if everybody is so upset over, well, I do this, well, she does this, well, I do this better, well, I do this better, shut up. Like, we all have to do it together because, like, it's time right now. All the shit that we've talked for the last year, like, time. And we have to do that. But if we're too busy deciding who's the face of what or who gets to do what, it's just ridiculous. I could do the same thing with Ant. Like, I'm going to be real candid. I could do the same thing with Ant. Well, how come Ant gets to be on Newsmax? Well, because that's the part that he plays. And it's an important part. My part's important too. Even though my face isn't everywhere, my part is still just as important. He's better at that. Find what you're good at and then capitalize on it. Mm-hmm. There you go, Catherine.
Thank you. I was just about to do that.
And then think about it because you're doing exactly what I'm saying not to do.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter if she does protests and rallies. I do protests and rallies. Protests probably work better. That's all that was being said.
I mean, at the end of the day, what's the difference?
I hate and this part.
No, I do protest. This is just a personal thing. I traveled an hour to help. She helped.
Oh, I'm not saying you don't, but at the end of the day, what's the difference between a protest and a rally?
I'm not going to get into it with her. She knows I actually gave the idea to go to Woo's house and the address. I've gone to Boston 100 times an hour away. She wants me to give credit to her personally. She's part of it. She's in all the videos and protests. So she's just in this petty shit.
This is what conservatives are good for. Look, I'm sorry. I gotta say it. This is all that conservatives do. Right. They nitpick and bitch and moan, and then they it's like
it's true. But so what were we gonna say about Tucker? Who did he call out?
Anybody come into the comment section on this show and insult the guests that we invited to have on this show? It's never flown on this show, and it never ever will, ever.
Unless it's Monty.
Who's Monty?
Monty, stop. We should call him.
We're not opening up that. So Tucker Carlson was talking about. He's talking about the vaccine, and we're starting to see the result. So this is to kind of go off of, you're saying a lot of athletes are dying. That's not the only football player who's passed away. Look at what has happened to Justin Bieber. I'm sorry, you cannot convince me that a completely healthy.
I'm so far behind that. What happened?
It's some type of Bell's palsy or whatever. Huh?
It's Bell's palsy. Now, I've just seen pictures of him. Was it from that?
They're saying no, and he's saying no, but he's being paid to say no. If it wasn't.
But if you took the vaccine, in all honesty, if you took the vaccine and you truly believed in it, you're going to say no anyways. I mean, even if you're not getting paid, you don't want to admit. No, Americans don't like to admit when they're wrong.
So, I had found an article.
It's a shitty feeling to do, but we have to start to.
I found an article a few days ago on the sperm, them finding out that there's some type of substance or metallic substance in men's sperm count, and it's been lowering. They found lower counts of male sperm in studies that have been placed between a certain age group of men. So I'm like, that's suspicious.
Interesting.
All of a sudden, Tucker Carlson, 3 days later, brings up a Pfizer report from Israel talking about men are have less sperm counts due to probably the vaccine.
Yep.
So if this doesn't go along with starving your baby, killing your baby, and making sure that you can't procreate, what the fuck are we doing here?
Well, wasn't that the whole point though? Like, was it like, I'm pretty sure that some dude right before this all hit said that we needed to lower the population by X amount.
He's been saying that, yeah.
Goal, right? And that's what we're doing now.
But hey, Joe Biden.
We neglected the elderly. Remember, we neglected the hell out of them when this hit. We put COVID positive people in nursing homes in my state. I watched it happen with my own two freaking eyes. I mean, and now we have that, like, they're going to get what they want. There's going to be that many people. And then all of a sudden now, guys, buckle up because we're going round two. Joe Biden's already told us that we're going round two. What disease will it be this time? We don't know. I've heard polio. I have heard polio.
The monkeypox was first in our state. Monkeypox was the first in Massachusetts.
What did you see that scientists now deem that the monkeypox term is derogatory and now they need to change it? Scientists are worried about if a term of a disease is.
You don't even know what a woman is. So
scientists. Bro, scientists are really worried. Scientists. That's all they get paid to do is science.
Bro, the United States.
It's not science if you can't question it.
Thank you.
The United States Navy is more worried about what pronoun you're going to throw at people rather than if we're going to fuck them up when we go to war. Because I bet you any money right now, these Russians and all these other countries, China, they're throwing fucking vehicles over people. Okay?
Bro, they couldn't even.
So they, me, you, and they, and she, her. Bro, shut the fuck up and fucking learn how to shoot a gun and a tank and fucking protect us. That's what we're fucking here for.
And why are we giving Ukraine death force? We're disarmed.
The size of a fat bitch.
Jesus, Cat.
You're on fire. I love it.
He's always on fire. We love him.
We send mags and guns and AKs to Ukraine, but they're unarming Americans.
Of course.
How hypocritical. We're not upset about this. That's it. If we, among not doing bloodshed, the only thing you can do is use your megaphone and get out there and make these people uncomfortable. There is nothing else besides bloodshed. So that's the only thing I can think of to get my anger out is I go there and protest.
Is go yell.
You're probably the most experienced when it comes to like actually dealing with a lot more of the public with the protests and the rallies that you do. What do you feel will be the bottom for us to like genuinely as a whole, not just the right, as a whole, like just genuinely get pissed off about enough that we all rile up together? Is there a bottom?
I do think so. I think eventually as more things happen and people are more waking up, we are going to see between the fuel, between people kind of fighting at a gas station pump in the food, people are going to stop fighting among themselves and they're going to have to jet. A lot of people are already leaving the big cities. A lot of people are waking up. They just don't know what to do. So I see a civil unrest coming if we're not going to prepare. So a lot of my energy besides protests and rallies, and everyone knows this, is I have trained myself as much as possible to prepare, prep, you work out, be uncomfortable, practice protecting yourself. Like I always tell people, get off the face. I haven't watched TV in a year. If you're going to watch TV, make sure you're working out. Something to be uncomfortable. Like we have to prepare our mind, body, and soul for what is to come. And it's scary thoughts. And I try not to be a Debbie Downer all the time, but if we got to protect ourselves and the people that can't, like our children. I get more anxiety going into Walmart. Like anything can happen. We just had someone jump and drive a car through our store, and I work for the Let's Go Brandon stores in Easton. He tried to kill people. He was an anti-Trumper. And
so take away cars, right? We gotta take away those assault cars. Assault cars. You gotta ban the assault cars.
Yep, ban those assault cars.
Be ready. I do trainings around the state. I'll do it with groups and how to prepare and try to get women to prepare. In how do we protect ourselves? Like, I think God has given us time with all this stuff to really prepare a Noah's Ark. And luckily, I've been networking with people all over, and some of them are better than others. Like, they have the community living. We have to get back to The American dream is dead. I'm sorry. The American dream is dead. We have to go back to the basics of living simple. We already had our chance. We have to worry about the next generation. We already enjoy the land of the plenty. We got to give up getting our nails done, replace it with buying a box of ammo. Sorry, I just always feel like, you got to say, gee, going out to eat or going for a hike and packing a lunch. Like,
So, Melissa, do you see us getting to the point where we saw like Italy, Europe, the mass protest? Do you see us getting to that point, and is it too late when we get to that point?
I don't think it's ever going to work. People said if we have 5,000, we're going to make a change. No. I've been in rallies where there's thousands of people. It doesn't do anything. You would have to
Yeah,
camp.
I mean Trump brings 50,000 and it doesn't do anything.
Look what happened. We had like 1 million at J6. Did it do anything? No.
Right.
It doesn't matter. The majority, it's always come down to a small group of people, the Sons of Liberty. It's always come down to the 12 apostles. It's really come down to a small group of people, Rosa Parks, that has changed the world.
True.
Like the right people. To me, you want me to be honest when you ask what's going to happen?
100%. Yeah. 100%.
This is scary, but I really see, and this is awful to say, the only way things are going to change and kick off stuff is when good people die. The right good people die. When you start seeing the people that you love being like really crucified in the street, and the people around your neighborhood is like, wow, that was a good person. That was a sweet, cuddly mom. That was a really good guy. And look what happened. That's when you're going to see rise, when the right good people die. Not the big leaders that run 5,000 people. It's about the people that you know in your inner circle. And they're like, wow, this person like didn't deserve this for freedom. That's what's going to kick off things, is when we start to see that happen. When you're like, you have to get a mark to buy, sell, and all that stuff. And we're like, no. And they start taking our children away because they're like, oh, you can't support your children. You didn't comply. And then people start going crazy like that. That's when you're going to start seeing
children right now. Like I've seen custody cases, and it's a smaller scale because it's from one parent to the other parent. But what if both parents feel that way? What if both parents don't want this? Then who takes them? Because I'm seeing mothers losing their children to the fathers strictly because of their vaccine decisions.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you go in state custody, they vax them up. So I have been at protests with vax buses, and they've had the kids from DCF custody load them right in and shoot them up with a vax. The second they take them from you, they vax them up. They do it immediately. So they want to take our children. They want the normal children, the neurotypical children, so they can like keep them in the system. They're making us look like we're crazy. So that's what's scary. People are like, I don't want to look crazy. I'm a patriot.
No, you're right about that. No, you're 100%.
Our kids relationship with like a narcissist where they have you convinced that like you're crazy, and that's not what it is. And even people that like I've kind of started branching over a little bit more, like, hey, lefties, like, what do we agree on? And I have found a lot of common ground with true blue, true liberals, because they are just as anti-government as we are. Like,
so
they
man.
don't want government. They want very.
One liberal person.
I'm saying liberals. I'm not saying crazy extreme leftists. I'm not saying. The person that you're upset with is a Democrat. She is not a liberal. And I said what I said because liberals, like Tucker Carlson wrote the book Ship of Fools, right? Great freaking book.
Yeah,
and he talks about a liberal teacher that he had growing up and why we need them, right? Like, you can't be too crazy with them. Like, liberals do remind us of the things that we don't think about. And we remind them of the things that they don't think about. But most of the time, we want the same thing. We just argue about how to get there. And then you have the extreme left and the extreme right, and that's what everybody focuses on. And no one's paying attention to the people in the middle. Right. And we have to start paying more attention to the middle ground people that really do want to say that. I mean, because a lot of people from the left are fed up too, where they're like, all right, like, what do we do? And most
not going to change though
anti-government.
They're not going to change us that are set in our ways. We're not going. I said give up arguing with the people because they're not going to change us. But the people in the middle, that if they see us like normal, if they see that we can like talk common sense, we could bring them over, but it's they want us to fight. So give up like on the Antifa extreme. They're not going to change us. We're not going to change them.
Right.
I watch those effers. Like, I do intel on them all the time. Like, because they go after families. I'm on their hit list and all that stuff because they'll go on pages and dox like little mom with their kids at a rally and go after their jobs. And I'm like, oh, really? I'll just put a note in their box and say, you're on the watch list.
Yeah, for the nursing one that we did, anybody wearing scrubs, if they saw people there wearing scrubs, there was someone there taking pictures. So I remember I walked right up to her and I was like, hi, it's really nice to meet you. This is my name. This is the company that I was a healthcare worker for before. I'm still technically employed, but I'm on extended leave for health issues. Feel free to call. Like, because that's where we've come now, where they will show up to rallies, take your picture, don't give a shit about you just because you don't agree with them, and then start calling HR. And now you've lost your job because I don't believe in the same thing as you. I don't think that you're an evil person because you want to be vaccinated. Why am I an evil person because I don't want to be vaccinated? Like, how the hell have we come to that?
It's more serious up here. Like, I have to say, I mean, there are the people that you work with, they'll report you for that stuff. But we have people that actually do evil. Like,
they'll report you?
Evil.
They'll report you?
Oh, they'll report, they'll call your house, they'll harass you. Like, I've been, like, my job where I live, my personal information have been on Antifa pages to get like thousands of people to call and say all these bad things. Like, I have like literally my life has changed.
Name one Jan Sixer who's done that. Name one Jan. If somebody, some liberal hack gives me one Jan Sixer who's done that to any liberal person, I'll give them $500.
Yep, doesn't happen.
No, but Antifa, totally okay to happen. They can harass people, go to their house, anything they want. It is listen. Our government is the mob. People don't understand that. They are fucking thugs. You understand this?
Yeah.
They are the current day mafia. They are out to fucking kill you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about your kids. As long as you don't go against them, you're family. After that, you're out.
No conscience. Like, they go after the children. The things that they do, and we have such crazies around here that has happened. And I'm like, listen, these people are the ones feeding you your coffee. They're in your medical records. They're in the court system. They know everything about you. And if you're high profile, it's already too late if you're out. Like, you're already out, and they just gather information. Like, we have people that were released from J6 that were high profile, and the FBI just follows them to all the Patriot groups and all the ones to get information on them. I'm like, they're collecting information. Why do you think they let them out, but Grandma Cookies is still locked up? They're getting information, so when they need it, they will. And you know what? The people that are unvaxxed are pure blood. I'm sorry. They're going to use as a vendor for something.
Careful. I made a TikTok.
Oh, did I say that? I'm going to get banned. Sorry.
No, you're fine on here.
Wound up like in like I was the devil for like a week straight on social media.
I took out organ donor on my.
She got news articles written about her and everything.
Oh, for being pure blood.
For referring to myself as that, yeah.
And you know what, Dana? Real quick, and I know we're at time almost, but that's a patriot too. Like, I know that you said, Kat, I know we're all for medical freedom and like choosing, but that's what every American should have fucking done.
Right, but if you truly
she made herself uncomfortable.
Yep.
And she's a single mom.
Yeah, she made herself, and trust me, she's a friend. I know, we know she struggled, but that's what every American should have done. But they're not ready to do that. They're not ready to do that, and they might be ready.
Have to give them the support to do that, and that's where we lack as well. Like, we're not offering the support for them to do that, because I can't imagine how scared Dana was to be like, you know what, screw it, because like, what blanket did she have?
None.
that's the point. I've lost my career. I got fired. I am down to like nothing. I went from 60K a year to nothing for not complying. And you know what? No blanket. And to me, it's not about us that are not rich. We could do something to help each other, but what about the Elon Musk? What about the Trump? What about the Tucker Carlsons? How come the Hollywood people that are on our side hasn't sat like a Woodstock of like, what's that? We are the world. How come they haven't done something to say, listen, we don't want you to comply?
Elon Musk can give Ukraine internet, but can't help American people.
Right. Why
They
haven't
didn't
they put
even
a
get
fund
Cuba
together
internet.
for us not to comply?
They wouldn't even help out Cuba, bro.
Right.
Because they
That's the
vote
problem.
red. They vote red. They don't want Cubans. They don't want Haitians. Haitians vote red. They don't want Venezuelans. They vote red. They want straight. Oh my God, I can't do it.
So Melissa,
We try to do at the end of the show is have our guests, and we really need it now, try to leave us with like a positive thought or a motivational thought.
Yes, I love
So
it.
for you, Miss Melissa, if you could offer advice to those watching who are listening to us and might be feeling a little defeated but still want to get in, what would you say for them to do?
Okay, so
No pressure.
no, because I'm trying to be positive. All right, so this is what I say, because when people get to this level, I'm like, you know what? If they take our joy away and our smiles, then they won. So no matter what the government says, no matter what's happening, you have a right to be free in something you can enjoy. If it is your campfire, if it is hugging your child, if it is your music, if it is dancing, I love to dance, whatever it is for your joy, you put that time aside a day to do what you love to do, because once they take that joy away, then they've won. They can't take that from you. So find the enjoyment that the best you can and be around people. Enjoy nature if you can. If you're someone that is, you can only do the computer because of your physical, mental, at least connect whatever it is that you find a joy and say, I'm going to smile. I'm going to listen to that song that makes me dance, that great memory, whatever it is. Like, you have to, because we've all been in a despair, and I've been in really dark times. I'm still in dark times. I'm losing my housing. Like, there's nothing more I can do for my situation, but I find joy. I'm like, that's it. I'm going to New Hampshire for the day. I'm going for a bike ride. I'm going to be with people that build me up, and screw the haters, and just know that as long as you're doing the right thing in your heart, and just be around the people, because there's so much evil around you. So really, that's the only thing that keeps you going. Is when I'm down, it seems like there's people like us that were feelers, and will be like, hey, I'm just looking out for you, and they cheer you up in some way.
Yeah, it's
Love
good.
that. I love that.
How can we support you?
Follow you.
I don't know. I just, you can share things. I like to help people, and if I can give information, and I get joy of helping other people, because then it makes me feel my life's not shit when I hear other people's life is shit.
But
I don't know what else to do. I mean, I need money, but everyone needs money. I need a camper. I'm looking to relocate. I mean, I'm going to stay here as long as I can to fight. I mean, again, these are things that I don't know what else to say, but other than that,
what socials do you have, and how can people find you on social media to connect with you that way?
Well, I have my website, even though I don't have a lot of stuff on it. I usually do it because if I run out of cards, I'm just like, hey, go to freedomloveandpatriot.org. I have that. I have my TikTok, which we share, which is Freedom Love and Patriots, which will probably be taken out like the last one. I have a Telegram channel. I have my email, which is just freedomloveandpatriotforlife@gmail.com. People can reach out. I mean, I have like a Venmo, I have a Cash App. I never do anything to raise money for anything. I would love to go back into radio or show, because I feel like I have to semi-retire and just share experiences and help people, kind of like what you guys are doing. I feel like such an honor to be here.
We're honored to have you here.
Yeah.
So
I love the time that we get to talk to people with the same function. And I know that Ant's just like, because we've been forcing Ant to like hang out with like middle ground people, and he's like, so when I sent him the promo today, I'm like, look what I found. And he's like, oh my God, thank you. Finally, we're back to this.
I'm an extreme patriot, and I've paid the price.
Listen, you should see me when like I know that it's like a real straight up liberal in public, and they come up to me. I'm like, "What do you need? What do you need?" Like that's how I'm like, I can't hear you. You have a mask. I don't know what you're saying. What? That's how I treat them. It's bad. I know it's bad, but I've had enough. I've just had
reactive abuse, and it's reactive abuse, and it dead ass is. Like, I'm not even trying to make a joke of it. Like, it really is reactive abuse.
Yeah.
You're done. You've hit a limit, and you're all the way done. And I also think like we should have a moment to thank everybody who are just saving lives every day by still masking in their car. You guys are the real MVPs. Thank you.
Oh, not all heroes wear capes. Thank God for those guys. Yes.
Yep. Check out Patriot Freedom Defenders too. It's a pretty good group that, like, you know, nationwide, if people want to learn like things, how to train and stuff. And talking about like making fun of kind of like the jokes. Like, I've done things like, you know, when they had the big step 6 feet away, I literally hopped to each step. Like, I've done like little mocking things that make it fun. Like, if you're gonna be ridiculous, fight ridiculous with ridiculous.
Yeah.
And when you can't get takeout food and they're like, you know, you have to wear a mask. I'm like, but if I'm sitting down, I don't have to. They're like, well, you're not sitting down, and then go actually run and sit at a stool and then go to another stool and then go to another stool. Like, you can't get me. Like, make that shit up. I do that. So I'm with you, Aunt. I think we'd have a really good time hanging out.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm trying to work on getting Melissa to Michigan at the end of July.
We might get kicked out of a gas station or something.
You guys can cause some shenanigans.
Hey, I got kicked out of a bagel store in Michigan.
He did first
I've
day.
got kicked out of pizza places and not served. Yes, I have.
Just wait until you live.
Well, we appreciate having you on, and we'd like to have you on again.
Good. I would love to be back. You guys are awesome.
I love it. This is a great.
Well, if you guys need to refer back to what her TikTok is the thumbnail of this live. So you guys can refer back, make sure you're seeing the right one, and then give her a follow, support her any way we can. Melissa, thank you so much for coming on. We absolutely appreciate you, and we hope the best for you from going forward.
Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Keep up the great work. Love you guys.
We love you back.